How you doing, people? Thought I'd make this video because I've not made one for a while, and I thought I'd get some audio and video to support the explanation I'm going to give now about what's going on with my car. We fitted the Kleemann Supercharger in January, and since that time we've still not been able to get the car running right. We went with the option 1 setup in the beginning, which was a Kleemann fuel regulator, Kleemann resistors, secondary fuel pump, stock injectors, stock fuel rail, and with that setup the car basically is supposed to adjust itself with a little bit of trickery thanks to the Kleemann resistors, but for some reason it wouldn't. We had misfires on a few cylinders, throwing errors on the computer, going into limp mode, just a nightmare really. Tried to fault find as much as we could with that option 1 setup and eventually gave up on option 1, went for option 2, took off the secondary fuel pump, fitted the upgraded fuel rail with the larger fuel injectors, took off the resistors of course, took off the fuel regulator, and what we did is we took out the stock ECU, basically stripped it down to the PCB board, and took the stock chip off, like unsoldered it from the board, and the guys at House of Cars ordered some blank chips of the same spec. We sent the stock file to Kleemann, they sent us a tuned file back that was loaded onto the chips that House of Cars bought. That flashed new chip was soldered onto the board, built the ECU back up, put it into the car fired up, absolutely no problems whatsoever, didn't throw any errors at all. House of Cars drove it for a little while, said that it was driving fine. I don't think that it was driven under load though, because they asked me to take the car, which is why I have it now. I picked it up yesterday. I drove it home yesterday, and basically below, it was around 4,000 RPM. Below 4,000 RPM the car was absolutely fine. Then started to put the car under load and it again started to misfire, went into limp mode and so on. Let House of Cars know what was going on. Again, we thought it was very strange because not only have we gone to the option 2 setup with the Supercharger, we've changed the O2 sensors, so they're both new. All the spark plugs are new. I believe some of the packs were changed as well on the cylinders that were throwing errors for misfiring. So yeah, I mean, all of the things that could have been changed to eradicate what was causing the problem have been changed, apart from, which maybe a lot of you are saying it now watching this video, the MAF sensor. Going on to a lot of the forums that I'm a member of, MAF sensor seems to be the most likely culprit now, and that's the one thing that hasn't been changed. I went to House of Cars today. They've cleaned out the MAF sensor because that's what is obviously going to be the first option before spending money on a new one, because the slightest little bit of debris or foreign bodies in the MAF sensor can really start to cause problems on the W210s. I think the same as with the W211s and I guess Mercedes cars across the board, no doubt. But yeah, the MAF sensor was cleaned. Drove the car home again, everything was fine. Then I've gone to put the car under load as before, and same thing. As soon as I hit around 4,000 RPM, limp mode, misfires and so on. So what I'm going to do now is get the car started up and take it out, and I'm just going to show you guys what I'm talking about. What we are actually going to do, of course, not leave the car like this. Going to take it back to House of Cars. They've got a MAF sensor they're going to put onto the car to test it. And if the car runs right with that MAF sensor, then I'm going to order a new one for mine and fit it, and then hopefully we'll be okay. But I'm going to get the car started, go for a little drive, and see what you guys think. So after the car's been shut off and restarted, of course it goes back to normal. What I did do as well is the ECU TCU reset, which you do by turning the ignition on, not engine start, but to the on, so the whole dash lights up. Press the gas pedal down for like 5-6 seconds or so. Turn the ignition off, don't remove the key, let your foot off the gas, and then wait about 2 minutes or so, and basically it resets the ECU TCU settings, not like a flash, but yeah, the way that these cars teach themselves how to adapt to your driving. Basically it kind of hits the reset button and it's like getting the car back from the factory, so to speak. So what I'm actually going to try and do is drive the car for about 20 minutes actually, below that signature RPM that keeps kicking it into limp mode. Reason I want to do that is I'm hoping that it'll allow the ECU and the air fuel and so on to settle down to some kind of more regular level, so that the car thinks it's where it's supposed to be. And then once that 20-minute time has passed, that's when I'll start to put the car under a heavier load, and we'll see what happens. We'll see if it goes into limp mode again. Even there, when I pulled out of the junction, there was like a little bit of hesitation on the gear change. I would put that down to the ECU TCU reset that I've done, and the car obviously trying to find itself again. Okay, I don't know exactly what's going on at the minute. I'm driving in manual mode at the moment. I've got the ESP turned off, and somehow by gradually building up the RPMs gently rather than dumping the throttle to the floor, the car's actually been allowing me to go over 4,000 RPM without kicking into limp mode. It's not done that before. So that's first. It revved up to 5,500 there. Second, same again. I can hear the supercharger whining a bit. 5,500. Strange. It doesn't usually allow me to do that, so yeah, I don't know what's different here. I don't know if it's because of me using manual mode. I don't know if it's because I've turned the ESP off. I don't know if it's because I'm gradually building up the RPMs rather than dumping it, and the car's able to adjust the curve. But you can see there's a bit of hesitation there when I'm changing gear. This is strange. So I'm in fourth now, 4,500 RPM, and still pulling. It's really quite weird because the car's not done that. Since the supercharger's been fitted, the car's not done that ever. So I'm not too sure what's going on at the moment. It's strange. I'm gradually built. Right there. There you go. So now the car's hesitating. Fourth gear, 3,500 RPM. Yeah. Can hear that it's not going, it doesn't want to go anywhere. So now I'll put it into drive, so I'm out of manual mode, ESP is off, not going going anywhere. Supercharger's whining a little. But yeah, no go there whatsoever. Now obviously if I was to turn the car off and back on again, it would be okay. But yeah, that's back into limp mode. Strange. As I said though, it's looking like it's going to be the MAF sensor, so I'll take it back to House of Cars probably later today, leave it with them so that they can test the other MAF sensor in it, and we'll see how it runs. If that solves it, then I'll buy a brand new MAF sensor, of course. Yeah, you can hear that, how much hesitation's there. That's my foot flat to the floor. So yeah, that's protecting itself. Anyway, at least you're experiencing what I've experienced for these past 8 weeks trying to get this figured out. Yeah, you can hear the car is not running right at all. Even there at the traffic lights as well, when we're stationary and the car's idling, the whole car's wobbling. Because obviously the idle's not running correctly, it's not firing properly. So what I'm actually going to do, I'm going to pull over here quickly, turn the car off and on again, just to force a reset. So limp mode's gone again now because I've restarted the car. I don't know whether to bother even messing around, dropping into manual mode. Turn the ESP off again, and yeah, I'm gonna drop it into manual mode again and gradually build up the RPMs and see what happens. See, it's allowing me to do it again. So if I do it gradually, it allows me to drive under quite heavy load. So that's third gear, 4,500 RPM. 5.5. That's it. That just about touched 6,000 RPM. Now I'm in fourth gear. Bit of hesitation there, just below 4,000. So that's fourth gear, 5,500 RPM. So you can see the car wants to run. Obviously there's something not allowing it to okay, so I hit the rev limiter there. I just wanted to see what happened. So we seem to be running okay at the moment. Okay, so that's wide open throttle there, and no limp mode. I'm going to go round once again, because this is strange. I don't know if the car's sending itself into limp mode because of it not having the chance to have set itself yet to the custom tune, and it's needed to be opened up like this. That's just run all the way up, first, second, third gear. I've hit the limiter in each gear just to see if it would kick it into limp mode, and it's been absolutely fine. The car's not ran like this before with me driving it. I don't know exactly what's going on. For the first time, the car's been able to rev up in a way where I can actually hear the supercharger. Drive now, and yeah, still no limp mode for the time being. Feels like there's still a little bit of hesitation. Obviously it's not going into limp mode at the moment. I don't know why it's not. I'm glad it's not, but I don't know why it's not. But yeah, there still seems to be some very minor flat spots as the car starts to pick up. So now I'm in drive mode. What I'm going to do, because I've not tried this yet, is when I get to the open road, I'm basically just going to drop the hammer whilst in drive and see what happens, because usually in drive mode, as I said at the beginning of the video, I would hit 3,500–4,000 RPM and the car would immediately go into limp mode. So the road's about to open up here, so I'm going to open up the car. We've been running before in manual mode, ESP off. We're going to keep the ESP off, but now I'm in drive mode. In manual mode and gradually building up the RPMs and so on, the car hasn't been going into limp mode. You saw it go into limp mode earlier on. Since then I've turned it off, turned it back on to basically give the car a bit of a reset. So now I'm going to drop the hammer in drive and see what happens. Still some hesitation, but nothing compared to limp mode. Yeah, it didn't go into limp mode, as you saw. I used manual gears to slow down there, but I'm back into drive now. No limp mode again. trying to avoid going wide open throttle through all gears. I mean, obviously it's quite difficult to do that anyway because you need quite a long stretch of road. I'm trying to keep it to just 2 or 3 gears at the most, and that's because that's what I was advised to do by Kleemann via House of Cars. So yeah, still no limp mode at the moment. Been driving for about 30 minutes I think now, or a little over. Again, I don't think we're in the clear because the car still dropped into limp mode before, as you saw. I had to pull over and restart the car, so still a bit undecided on what's going on at the minute. We've got some traffic lights down here, so I'll see if I can get to the front of the queue somehow at a set of lights so that I can do a wide open throttle start and see what happens, because that's one of the only other things that we haven't done yet. We've been doing rolling starts basically. Place. So yeah, the car's gonna have to go back and we'll let them change the MAF sensor. I'm not going to bother playing around with it, even if by being gentle with it and gradually building it up to like wide open throttle and some quite heavy performance. Yeah, that's wobbling pretty violently. You can even hear it actually. Yeah, that's not running right at all. Okay, I'm going to turn it off. That's how it's supposed to sound. Yeah, limp mode. Almost straight away there, even after a restart. So, definitely going to take the car back tomorrow and get them to put the MAF sensor from the other guy's E55 onto this one, run the tests, get it plugged up to the computer, see what that says, because this is not cool.